Good morning, Year 4. Miss Fowler here, just checking in for your reading for today. We have been reading Bill's New Frock. I started this last week and read chapters 1 and 2. Mrs. Plews then read chapters 3 and 4. And on Monday, you had Mrs. Cross reading chapters 5 and 6. So we are on the final chapter, chapter 7 today. And I hope you enjoy it. This is the end chapter, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Chapter 7, Happy Ending. Maybe the day had been more tiring than he realised. Maybe the schoolwork was harder than usual. Bill wasn't sure. All he knew was he'd had enough. He wanted to go home. It had been the most horrible of days, and he had been glad to have it over. The clock hands seemed to crawl. Each time he looked up, they had scarcely moved. The afternoon seemed endless, endless. And then, at last, the bell rang. And after the usual shouting and clattering and slamming of desk lids, everyone made for the door. As Bill went past her, Mrs. Collins stretched out a hand to hold him back for just a moment. "You're still not looking quite right to me," she said. "I can't work out what it is, but let's hope that you're back to your old self tomorrow." "Yes," Bill agreed fervently. "Let's hope." He had his doubts, though. And it was all Bill Simpson who trailed down the school drive, dragging his feet. At the gates, Paul was jumping up and down beside his baby sister's pushchair, excitedly telling his mother about the race. They smiled and waved, but Bill pretended not to see. He was, it had to be admitted, in the worst mood. He felt angry and bitter and resentful. He was so sick of the silly pink frock that he would have liked the ground to open up and swallow him up. But no such luck. In fact, worse was to come, it seemed. For there, at the corner, nesting on one of the dustbins, was Mean Malcolm waiting for his gang. Mean Malcolm saw him coming and whistled. Bill looked a sight. He knew it. The frock was a rumpled mess, with grubby fingerprints all round the hem, a huge brown football-shaped smudge on the front, paint smears down the folds, rips in each side where he had hunted in vain for pockets, a great crisscross footprint where Rowan kicked him, and grass stains down the back, the sort of grass stains that would never come out. The frock was a disaster. And that is probably why, when Mean Malcolm whistled at Bill Simpson again, he took it so very badly. He stopped and glowered at Mean Malcolm. "Whistling at me?" Mean Malcolm looked astonished to find this pink apparition glaring at him with such menace. He shifted uneasily on the lid of the dustbin. "Because," continued Bill savagely, "I am not a dog. I am—" He hesitated for a moment, not knowing quite how to finish, then yelled triumphantly, "I am a person!" And, charging at Mean Malcolm with a pent-up fury of the most horrible and frustrating day of his life, he flung him backwards off the dustbin lid into a pile of spilled rubbish. "There!" he yelled. "That'll teach you. Whistle at dogs in future, not at people." And he strode off towards home, a little more cheerful, leaving Mean Malcolm desperately trying to brush off the carrot peelings and the tea leaves off his purple studded jacket before his gang came round the corner and saw him. When Bill Simpson walked in the front door of his house, his mother was just coming through the back door. They met in the hall. Mrs. Simpson stopped in her tracks. She stared at Bill in absolute horror. And let me just show you that picture there. We're pushing Mean Malcolm, and you can see him there in the rubbish. "Look at you," she declared. "Look at you. What a mess. Fingerprints, footprints, smudges, paint smears, rips. Turn around." Obediently, Bill spun round. He heard his mother gasp. "Grass stains," she shrieked. "The kind that never come out." Bill shrugged. It wasn't his fault, after all. He never asked to wear the silly frock. Bill's mother sighed. "You better take it off at once," she said, unzipping the back and starting to undo the fiddly shell buttons. "This is the last time I ever send you to school in a frock." She peeled the offending dress up over his head and gave him a little push towards the stairs. Bill needed no prompting. He ran up to his bedroom and pulled on a pair of jeans and a shirt. Then he took the tiniest sideways peep in the mirror, and then another, slightly longer peep, and then a good long stare. You can see him there looking at himself in the mirror, back with his jeans and his shirt on. He was a boy. Some people might have said that it could have been done with a bit of a haircut, but he was definitely a boy. Never in his whole life had Bill felt such relief. Bella, the cat, came up and rubbed her soft furry body around his ankles in the usual way. She didn't seem to notice any difference. Bill picked her up and buried his face in her fur. "It's all right," he whispered to her delightedly. "It's over. It's over. It doesn't matter if it was a dream or not. Whatever it was, it's over." She purred contentedly in his arms. He held her tight. "And Mum says," he repeated firmly to himself and Bella, "this is the last time I ever have to go to school in a frock." And it was. And there's no picture at the end there, but it is all over. So I really hope you enjoyed Bill's new frock. Kind of demonstrates some of the differences potentially between girls and boys. Hopefully not quite as many as there are when you're at school, but I really enjoyed reading that to you, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it over the last week or so. There will be a new book soon, and I hope you enjoy that. But for now, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.